My name is Rosslyn Cox. I'm the Coordinator of Student Leadership here at the University of South Australia. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the lands I'm standing on today are the lands of the Kaurna people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to acknowledge that the university's campuses sit on the lands of a number of different Aboriginal peoples. The university's metro campuses sit on the lands of the Kaurna people. The university's campus in Mount Gambier sits on the lands of the Boandik people. And the university's campus in Whyalla sits on the lands of the Bangala people. Today, we are going to be focusing on two fun techniques that you can use with your Lego or any other things you have around the house to practice mindfulness. We're going to be talking about stop motion animation as well as time-lapse videoing as a way of actually doing something fun and focusing on a particular activity. So just to recap, mindfulness is the deliberate practice of focusing on one particular activity, blocking out external distractions. By doing so, you can become far more conscious of how you're feeling, how your body is responding, what you would like to do with that information to really enhance your well-being. While we're talking about a very specific practice of mindfulness, mindfulness is something that we can all benefit from in every aspect of our lives every day. So by practicing mindfulness, you're actually just getting into the habit of being very deliberate about how you're feeling, being very deliberate about how you're responding, being very deliberate about noticing what your body is doing in particular situations. With that knowledge, we've got a lot more control over how we want to respond as situations arise. One of the techniques I'd like to introduce today is something that many people use as a way of better managing stress and anxiety. And that technique is to really understand what in your environment you have control over and what elements you don't have control over. With that knowledge, many people feel a greater sense of control, a greater sense of certainty by really understanding what they can control and what they can't control. So as an example, in our current situation, some of the aspects of our current situation that are without your control or out of your control are the decisions that the Commonwealth and state government have made about certain arrangements, the decisions that our university have made about how we work and study during this period. What you may have more control over is your diet in this particular period. What do you put into your body? What you may have control over is the level of exercise you take, the amount of sleep you have. Some of you may have a lot more control over understanding your behavioral responses and your emotional responses. Many people find that by determining and separating what they don't have control over and what they do have control over gives them something specific to focus on. We need to accept those things we don't have control over and determine what we do have control over and what we would like to do with that. So we're going to use that theme today in our two activities. Now, as always, today's video is not meant as personal or professional advice. If you are experiencing levels of stress and anxiety that you feel would benefit from a conversation with a professional, please make use of our counselling services at the university. There are also lots of resources about mindfulness that you can find through the university's website. Okay, on to today's activity. The first thing we're going to be talking about is stop motion animation, and then we are going to talk about time-lapse video. I'm going to use a couple of examples, things that make me feel really good, things that I've been thinking about to demonstrate those two, and I really hope you enjoy the activity. Okay, so what is stop motion animation? Stop motion animation is a very specific filming technique whereby you manually manipulate an object to make it look like it's moving in real time through a particular scene. You can use anything you'd like to create a stop motion video. Today we're going to be using Lego, but you could use clay, you could use Play-Doh, you could use slime, you could in fact use images to create a story or a particular scene. There are lots of apps available for smartphones that make stop motion animation really simple. All you really need for stop motion is a smartphone, an app, and if you have one handy, a tripod, but you can just as easily use your phone. For my demonstration, I am going to be playing out a scene that causes me a great deal of frustration. So when I'm on campus at City West, one of the things that really frustrates me is when I see individuals coming to our pedestrian crossing on Hindley Street and without any regard for the other users of the road, like cyclists and drivers, just walking straight across, not looking, not acknowledging the other users, and sometimes the cars are stuck there for a number of minutes. Now, we are often all in a hurry, but I feel if we could all be a little bit more conscious and mindful of other users, we could probably create a little bit more positivity and harmony in our environment. So if we go back to that principle, what I do have control over and what I don't have control over, I don't have any control over other people's behavior. But what I do have control over is creating a scene, a story where I might be able to convey a message to others. That way I feel like I've actually lived my values, and I will probably then feel less frustrated when people do what they do, because I feel like I've had an opportunity to actually voice my frustration. So I hope you enjoy my very simple example of a stop motion video. I would strongly encourage you to think about a particular scenario or story that has been playing out for you in your mind. It could be a really positive thing, or it could be something that you're frustrated about and you just want to get it out. Think about that. I'd love to see what you have. I'm going to put a link up at the end of this video where you can upload your stop motion videos. And I look forward to seeing your videos soon. Enjoy. So the second activity we're going to do today is to use time-lapse photography. Now, time-lapse photography is essentially when you put your camera on a certain setting and it takes lots of different shots of a particular activity and speeds it up. So an activity that could take 5 or 10 minutes actually speeds up to 30 seconds and you see it in real time. It's a fun way, again, of creating something. So it's that mindfulness activity, you're actually creating something, but then you can display it in a unique way. So for today's activity, I am going to create a rainbow. And the reason I'm going to create a rainbow is because we are now moving through what has been a really challenging time to potentially a more positive time. A lot of the restrictions are being lifted. Many of us are going to be able to socialize more. And I think the rainbow often represents the beautiful end of what can be sometimes a scary time. If you think about a thunderstorm, sometimes thunderstorms can be a little bit scary, and then out from the storm emerges this beautiful rainbow. So that's just a way for me to think really positively about the future. Sometimes we think that mindfulness has to be about the present, but there's absolutely nothing stopping us for incorporating a positive perspective or forecast on the future in our mindfulness. So again, think about something that you can do that won't take you more than sort of 10 or 20 minutes. Put it in time lapse and enjoy the results. I hope you enjoy my building of a rainbow. I hope you enjoyed both the time-lapse animation as well as the stop-motion animation. If you have any questions about anything that you have seen in any of the videos, please feel free to send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your ideas. If you're interested in any more personal and professional development through Career Hub, just seek out self-development workshops and you can come and do more of the workshops with me and my colleagues. Otherwise, I wish you all the best. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you stay happy. I hope you stay well. And I hope you continue to practice